All right, ladies and gentlemen, that takes us to key concept 6.7, effects of migration from 6.6. Migrants tended to be male, leaving women to take on new roles in the home society that had been formerly occupied by men. So this shows one of the biggest immediate consequences of migration is gender imbalances. Gender imbalances tended to come both in the sending societies and the receiving societies. It's just that the sending societies usually would then have female majorities, and the receiving societies would usually have male majorities. Migrants often created ethnic enclaves in different parts of the world that helped to transplant their culture into new environments. The most obvious examples for me, perhaps, are all of the Chinatowns all over the world in Washington, D.C., and Mexico City, and so on. You can find Chinatowns, though, all over the place in Southeast Asia, the Caribbean, South America. This is not even a comprehensive list, but some of the more well-known ones are in San Francisco or Havana. Indians in East and Southern Africa, the Caribbean, and Southeast Asia. Irish people in North America, like, for instance, in the south part of Boston. Receiving societies did not and continue to do not always embrace immigrants, as seen in the various degrees of ethnic and racial prejudice and the ways states attempted to regulate the increased flow of people across their borders. Examples of regulation of immigrants across borders are the Chinese Exclusion Acts in the United States. The Chinese Exclusion Acts, first signed by Chester A. Arthur in May 6th of 1882, didn't get repealed until 1943, and even then, only 105 people per year. And then in 1965, Lyndon Johnson signed the new Immigration Act. Australia had a similar policy known as the White Australia Policy, restrictions on especially Chinese migration in the 1850s. It didn't get fully repealed until 1973. So, to review, causation in the imperial age. Rationales for imperialism included social Darwinism, nationalism, civilizing mission, and religious conversion. As states industrialized, they also expanded existing overseas empires and established new colonies and transoceanic relationships. Indigenous people responded to state expansion with direct resistance, the creation of new states on the peripheries of empires, and rebellions against empires, sometimes influenced by religions, other times not as much. Global economics developed because of the need for raw materials and consumers. Non-industrial areas often became resource export economies. Some states engaged in economic imperialism, like the United States or Great Britain or France, and traded commodities in ways that benefited European countries and the US. Migrants relocated for a variety of reasons, often in search for work. And thanks to the new types of transportation, steamships and railroads, some were able to even return home periodically. The capitalist economy continued to rely on coerced and semi-coerced labor. Migration had demographic, ethnic, and legal consequences. And ladies and gentlemen, that's Unit 6.